Well, good afternoon. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and here we are. Thank you so much for joining me again. I hope your life has been going well in the last 2.5 months. Yes, it's been a long 2.5 months since I made a video, and the main reason is because, well, of course, I was moving into my motorhome full time, but also the place where I was before. The woman who owned the property, her family were having some health issues. Her parents were having some health issues back home, and she had to basically put the property up for sale. And it sold almost immediately. There was a 2-month closing, and I can tell you it was an incredible workup. Trying to get all of the stuff, the container, all of the things off the property into the new location. Finding a new location. Not an easy thing in today's world. It's funny, we talk about building community, but actually finding a place to settle is not as easy as it may sound. And a lot of the communities up here are actually having a little bit of difficulty, with the whole homesteading project and so on and so forth. And that is because it really takes time to build a community, especially when we have been so divided in society, and we really have been cut into two groups. Those who refuse to take the shot and mask up and all the rest of it, and those who completely went along with the whole program. And the truth is creeping out slowly but surely, but they are still having a difficulty in acknowledging that they really got duped. They swallowed this thing hook, line and sinker, and I guess it takes a little bit to come down from that, that embarrassment, because I certainly would be embarrassed if I had fallen for all of this garbage that's been going on for the last 5 years. And this is, of course, one of the reasons why I got the motorhome, because I don't know what it is, but I just have the feeling that I want to be decentralized. I want to be able to move and go to a different jurisdiction if I have to, because I have absolutely no idea of how this is going to play out. I know that it is not going to work. I know that they already see, the elites and the WEF see that this whole project of theirs is coming apart at the seams, and the longer it takes for them to roll out their plan, the more opportunity there is for people to see exactly what nonsense it is. Like the whole EV, the green movement, lots of companies, corporations are now stepping away from the environmental social governance, the ESG. And also the DEI hiring has turned out to be a complete disaster, because, we spent all of these hundreds of years perfecting a system called meritocracy. In other words, the best person, the most qualified person, gets to do the job, because it's too important to allow an unqualified person to build a rocket, to build a bridge, to build a road, because they're unqualified. Okay, and if that happens to look like it's favouring one side or the other, well, that's just unfortunate. The message is, if you want to be on top, if you want to be that decision maker, well, you better pull up your socks, and you better get the experience required and the education required to be able to do that job and to be the best in your field. Because when you hire second best, that's when bridges collapse and planes fall out of the sky, just like the the Boeing aircraft, the Air India plane that just basically fell out of the sky, and they have very few explanations as to exactly why that happened. So I'm thinking that I want to be decentralized, I want to move around, I do want to travel, and I also want to be able to front run, this idiocy, and hopefully when it calms down, or we settle into a pattern of a new normal, that seems to make some sense, then maybe I will buy in to buying a piece of property again, something like that, and think about settling down. But in the meantime, I am loving the idea of traveling. Whether I go down to the US or not, I'm not quite sure. I think I'm probably going to go out west this year. I haven't been out west. I want to go and see the ostrich farm that is under attack from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, who are acting like the absolute Gestapo, and they want to off these 200 ostriches that are in absolutely fine health. There was a couple of cases of flu, but they've got over it, and they're actually studying the ostrich's immune system to understand why they had such a great recovery. And well, I think we all know why. You know, the only time that a flu is deadly is that when you have some kind of underlying issues, when you are older. You know, the flu, traditionally stalks the old and the very young. People who have weakened immune systems, all of that kind of stuff. The average person really has very little to fear from the flu, and that's why it really, up until the last 5 years, it hasn't been such a big deal. And any of the other pandemics, like the avian flu, the H1N1, the swine flu, they didn't amount to a hill of beans, and they will continue to be that way. This is purely and simply fear-mongering. But as I say, this is all coming out into the open, and as more and more people find out about this stuff, at the very least, they start to question the authority figures who seem to think that they have some kind of right to ram their ideology down your throat, their belief system down your throat, and tell you to believe the science even when they don't follow the science themselves. And so this is something that Trump is doing. And I, for one, whether you like Trump or not, he is slowing down the trajectory of the WEF, and that has to be a good thing, because it gives us all a time to breathe and all a time to, like I say, get on top of what is happening. Although, inflation is out of hand, and that is going to put a whole different complexion, because people are literally struggling. I'm hearing stories of people who are retired with their own homes. They own their own homes, and they're literally being forced out because they cannot afford the heating costs, the maintenance costs, the repair costs, the renewal costs, the property tax, the cost of food, just the cost of living, cost of repairing a car. I just put new tires on my car. 4 tires on a Volkswagen Jetta, $1,350. Unbelievable. I mean, that is nearly an entire month's income for me on one item alone. So I don't know how people are going to fare on this level. It is certainly having a deep effect, and my heart goes out to especially young families, especially if you have a few children, because the pressure on families to have all of those things to provide for their children, wow. All of those kids know the name brands, and if you don't have the name brands on at school, you are getting picked on and you are getting teased. So again, this brings a lot of subtle undercurrent type pressure into people's lives that plays back onto the parents, and it makes them feel like they are completely inadequate when actually, they are just facing such headwinds that it is impossible for them to get on top of their game. So yep, there we are. That's where I am at today. I'm certainly enjoying life. Jazz has settled into her new home, and yes, I think things are going to work out quite well. The location I'm at right now is in, I'll just say, south central Ontario, but I have about a half-acre field behind me that I can use, have my own little burn pit there for barbecues, have friends over. There is a beautiful but small lake on the property, and there is a garden which I have been allowed to plant and get underway. And of course, luckily, Oh, absolutely. Luckily, we'll go out for a quick look around in a second. But my chickens, one of my Wyandottes had 4 chicks. Now, she only had 2 eggs herself, but I figured that the red sex-link hens were also getting jumped by the rooster, and so I was pretty certain their eggs were fertilized, so I slipped a couple of their eggs underneath, and we have 2 and 2 of each, 2 Wyandottes and 2 red sex-link Wyandotte crosses. So I was very pleased that I could bring my chickens along, and I'm very pleased that I've got 4 extra chickens, although they probably won't be laying until next year. And I'm hoping that the people who live here will be able to look after them in the wintertime, because this location is only good until it starts to get cold, mid-October to the end of October. And if I have to go, or if I want to go out west, I will have to take the Trans-Canada Highway and be on the road by the beginning of October, because I believe October the 21st is the deadline for vehicles going over the mountains without snow tires. So even leaving first week in October, it's going to be nip and tuck getting over there, and hopefully the weather will cooperate and make it a wonderful trip. But I do want to go see those ostriches. I want to see the farms, see if I can help out there. And that was one of the things, again, that I had hoped I'd be able to do by having a motorhome, was be able to go places that needed some assistance or needed some support, and just take off and go there. But like I say, I'm still staging right now, so it will come in time. Okay, so let's take a quick walk around outside, and we'll go see those chickens, and yeah, here we go. So let's do the quick guided tour here to see my home of homes. Of course, this is the driver's seat, the cockpit, all the instrumentation. There is a wonderful onboard 8 kilowatt generator, diesel generator, which I used last night because the hydro went out. Now I've got these reflective panels that I put up in the windows because it is a little warm in here when the sun comes out, but these curtains go all the way around, but lots of cupboard space. Now I've made a couple of little adjustments here. This is the biggie. This is my office. Books. This was a pull-out bed settee, and I decided I'm going to be travelling essentially alone with just me and the dog, that I would put an office in here so that I can do work, research, so on and so forth. And again, lots and lots and lots of cupboard space, little library up there. All of this is books along here. The storage there, the file cabinet, that is bolted to the desk. The desk is bolted to the bottom of the pullout, and the photocopier here is velcroed to the top of the cabinet. So everything, that's the big thing, that's the big downside here, is that everything has to be tied down or it's going to be moving around, sliding off the desks and onto the floor. So yeah, had to take care of that. Now on the desk here, what I did was I built a rack, if you can see it in the back there, to hold the speakers and anything else that might roll out. And of course these boards here, they just stop the books from falling on the floor. Now what I did around here, oh look, there's Jazz. She has a little spot, a little cave down there. Now here was a lazy boy, and I decided to pull that out and put some extra countertop in here. I've got the Formica to go on top of that, and again there's a rack here to hold all of this stuff in so it doesn't roll around whilst we're travelling. Lots of food storage up here, herbs, spices, coffee, Again, herbs, spices, sauces. So there is a nice gas range here, and now you see this is basically from here, where this water jug here is. This is the counter space that you have to work with. I mean, can you imagine? I know they've got tops on this, but you know, you like to put stuff in the sink whilst you're working. So having this counter space here is just wonderful, and I was so happy that Jasmine could have her little spot so that she feels nice and safe and snug in there. But really, this place, it's so large. It's 37 feet and mirrors everywhere. I do miss the fridge. This is not a full size, but still it works. Coming through here into the washroom. A fan. Little toilet there. That's going to be a composting toilet. Shower stall. Now the thing that I really like about these older models is that the wood here is all hardwood fronts, so it's nice and solid. And here we have the bedroom. Nice big double bed. Again, plenty of storage. I mean, I still have storage space left that I haven't used yet. So it is unbelievable amount of storage in here. The bed is very comfortable. There's an air conditioning unit above the bed. So if it gets a little too hot in here, you can cool it down. So overall, I'm very pleased with my accommodation. I think this is going to work out just fantastic. And of course, there's a couple of more upgrades going on here. Next week, I go down and I'm having a battery, a lithium ion battery installed, which gives me about 300 amp hours. And I will have some solar panels so that I can be completely independent. The generator is handy for when you put on things like the well, you can't run the air conditioning without the generator on, or shore power. And boy oh boy, did I tell you that I love my air fryer. That is the handiest thing. It's way better than an oven, uses a lot less hydro, and yes, very 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 usable, and it takes up so little space. It's easy to clean. So this is my home. This is my house for the foreseeable future. Okay, so here's the back field, and you can see the lake off in the distance there. Thank goodness for Starlink. And yeah, the burn pit over there. I did a little carving on the tree trunk there to make a little seat to sit and watch the fire burn in the evenings. But it is a beautiful, beautiful location. And that orange netting there is over the chicken run, and is to keep predators from coming in and grabbing my chickens. And it is a lovely little barn. There's 1, 2, 3 stalls and a chicken coop. And look at that, we're going to get to see the chickens. I don't know if you can see them there. It's kind of hard to see through the chicken wire. There we go, they're in the back. And we have a very, very, very protective mom. But they seem to be pretty happy. They like their run. Jazz just loves her chickens. Now those yellow ones, I believe, are the red sex link, and the Wyandottes are kind of hard to see. There's one right in the middle of them, but they're so dark. There we go. Aren't they the cutest things? And of course this rooster turned into a great big handsome boy. Now I don't know if you can see on the back of that chicken there is what looks like a black and white handkerchief. It blends actually in quite well with there you go, you get a better look there. Okay, and what that is one of these, and it is called a chicken bib. And this poor little girl, because her sister was taking care of the chicks, she was being mounted like just continuously by this rooster, and he had scratched a really big, like an open wound on her back, and that's exactly what these chicken bibs are for, is to protect the chicken from an overzealous rooster. And he should really have about 8 or 9 girls with him to keep him busy, but he's just got down to 3, and it'll be about another 3 weeks before the other Wyandotte can be let loose out into the rest of the pack. But he is a big handsome boy. So here was a quick vlog catch up for the old Houndog here, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe below, and in the meantime, thank you again so very much for joining me on this journey. Maybe you'll learn some things, maybe you'll get some ideas from me, maybe hopefully you'll pick up on my attitude towards life, which is still optimistic and hopeful. You know, we are on an adventure, and life should be treated as an adventure. It should not be treated like it is a complete drag to go through. And when you look at history, trust me, these things do come and go on a regular basis. People have survived. They do create tough times, but I'm sure that if we all work together, we will be able to get through it. And in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Bye.